Hi guys, I'm here with Mr. Tony. Just look at this man. Like, what is that? So what was the last time you competed? 2021?
21, yeah.
2021 with Rolly.
And I hope I compete next year again.
Shit, dude. He was 2 in pounds, 260 something, which is just kind of fucked up to me. Like, how are you 260 whatever pounds? Absolutely diced out of your minds. Maybe I'll show you guys a picture in a couple minutes. I feel pretty small sitting here doing these workouts next to him, you know? This might be a warm-up for a heavier weight, or this might just be the heaviest I go. I don't know. It's kind of light. So the plan for today, and just kind of in general, as I've gotten leaner, like I mentioned in previous videos, I can see where my weak spots are, and my erectors and my traps are not crazy weak. So instead of doing my normal 4 straight sets, 5th set doing a ridiculous drop set, I'm gonna take 1 set off and do 4 working sets and add a set to a lat focused exercise, because down here is still, you know, this is where I gotta bring this low part down here. This is 4 something, 4.5-ish plates. Not 455 because it's converted. That's that B+ form, right? No, it's not. It's a little bit of,
You can't train hard if you have a strict form all the time. It's fucking impossible. Instagram can say, do like...
Hold on, wait. Tell them what you just said.
Like Instagram influencers can say that you can build muscle like doing exercise with no going around, but if you want to like build big muscle like this guy,
Not like that guy.
you can't be strict all the time. But you can't do like a real failure if you are strict.
Yes.
With a strict form all the time.
I think people want to feel a sense of graduating up to new levels of training veteranship. And they think, okay, the barbell rows are old and they're like outdated and there's no stability. It's like, that's the exact reason why it's a good exercise. It's because there's no stability. I have to use my entire fucking back to brace 400 and something pounds. Whereas if I sit down and I put a chest pad here and I go like this, okay, 9, 10, okay. Then what? All right, let's do another set. Got a haircut today, and like, man, there's just something about having a nice start to your day with a haircut, some cardio, some sun. It's fantastic. But I wanted to just say, when I say something like, this is the best back exercise, or this is my favorite chest exercise, it's just my opinion. So please don't I'm upset because my favorite one is the this, and this. Like, that's cool, dude. Like, I'm just saying, this has built my back. So I'm gonna do a drop set, and I'm not gonna edit it. I'm not gonna fast forward it. I wanna show you guys my approach to exercise intensity and pushing past failure. I'm gonna do as many as I can, and while I'm standing, holding it in the air, Megan will take 1 off of each side. And just because I hit failure at 3 plates doesn't mean that my muscles have hit failure. I just hit failure at 3 plates of rowing. However, 2 plates of rowing, I'm not at failure there. And then I'm gonna go down to 1 plate. 1 plate, I didn't hit failure at 1. And then that's when the set's over. That is why I do drop sets, because training to failure, in my opinion, builds a lot of muscle. Yes, don't do a drop set every set of every workout of every muscle of every exercise. Yes, I'm just saying, pick an exercise or 2 a day. Do something where you're going to failure, and then making failure push that goalpost of where failure is another notch away by taking some weight off. Not done yet. Okay. Okay. Fuck. That sucks. That sucks. So a pretty common theme is heavy nervous system something, deadlift, squat, barbell row, a bench, whatever. And then my second exercise, or like the middle of the workout, I get away from really heavy barbell free weight stuff. So for exercise number 2, my favorite is doing rear delts in the middle of the workout, because I still have more rowing and things that utilize my rear delts as a secondary mover. At least for me, what I experience is that when I pump a muscle up and then I use that pumped muscle in a movement where it's a secondary mover, I feel crazy soreness the next day. That muscle gets a lot of stimulus and growth from it, because I used to do it last. Like I used to do side delts last, raises, and I'd do that last and go home. I wouldn't do raises and then go press afterwards, or do leg extensions. I used to go home after. Do them last, go home. Now I do leg extensions, then go into hack squats, or do adductors and go into leg press or hack squats or lunges or whatever. So same thing with this. This is not last for me, because if it's last, would you rather be first or last? What has more importance to somebody, or where is importance usually is from top down. So if I put this second, I'm in the upper tier of how important I want these gains. And if I put it last, it's gonna be at the end of the workout, low energy, and I might even not try as hard because I'm just trying to get out of here or whatever. So I put these second because the rear delt is a back exercise. I mean, a back muscle. It's not a shoulder muscle, even though it says the word deltoid on it. It just sits here. But just because it sits here at your shoulder girdle, what does it do mechanically and functionally in a gym is it's responsible for taking your humerus and going like this with it. So if you include this and take that range of motion and go all the way, what do you get? Make that one thing. That's called a row, right? It doesn't matter if you're down here, or up here. In some capacity, your humerus, this bone, elbow, led by your elbow, is going this way. If you stop without any scapular retraction, anything happening here, if this is frozen and you're just here to here, you're all rear delts, which is essentially this. Boom. I can't go anymore unless I start to involve other muscles. That's why my range of motion on this is just here. Now, with a pumped rear delt in 10 or 15 minutes, when my rear delts are thoroughly trained through this, I'm gonna go into a T-bar row or a pull-up, or just something comes next after this where my rear delts are a secondary mover, because my rear delts aren't the primary mover on a row. My lats and my traps are, but my rear delts are still involved. But with a pump established, they actually are able to do a lot more work. When they're able to do a lot more work and they're stimulated more, that means they're damaged and they grow more. And that's my rationale for putting the squeezy, kind of low anxiety, like pretty chill type stuff in the middle, like leg extensions, rear delt flies, side raises. I put that shit in the middle because afterwards I'm gonna do something that involves that muscle at a much larger, grander scale. Let's go to the full stack. And I don't have the camera to show you, but trust me, I'm doing the full stack, and I might even throw a plate on there. Oh shit, I just buried. Sorry, I just talked into the mic. I don't know how that sounded. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go up here to my left. So I'll get a plate on there if I can find one. And another pin I have to steal from another machine, which I do not like doing. 25 kilo plate is gonna go on here. Heavy rear delts for double-digit reps. I stay 10, 12, 15, sometimes 20. Drop sets can be 20, 30, 40 reps and just one big ass set. If you guys saw my last Instagram post, I posted about Megan's like leg stuff that she does and how she built her tiny ass waist and these big ass she's got and these legs that she has. I included in the caption like, there's a really big difference between person A and person B where, you know, person A says, what's the least I can do to make some sort of noticeable progress? And then person B on the other end of that spectrum is gonna say, what's the most I can do? Like, where's my limit that I can try to push a ceiling against, where I can train balls to the fucking wall, brutal attack on your legs, on the squats and the hack squats, and on the chest, on the pressing and all that, on your back, your rows and pull-ups and all that stuff. Like, where can I go to a degree of pain and torture while still able to recover well? Person A, what's the least I can do to make some noticeable progress? And person B is like, what's the most I can do and still recover well? And that's where my brain goes, is what's the most I can do in this gym while still being able to recover for later workouts that use almost similar muscle groups, or secondary muscle groups are like related. Legs and back are very related, chest, shoulders, and arms are very related, and still be able to recover well. And that's where my head goes, is what's the absolute most I can do to torture and kill myself in here and still be able to recover well? Not, you only need 2 sets to grow. Yeah, but what if 4 gives me more growth? Like, it's not yes or no. Does 2 sets make you grow? Yes or no? Yes. Does 4 sets make you grow better? You gotta find that out for yourself. For me, yes. 6, 8, 9, 10, that's where it almost gets to like, okay, if I'm gonna be in the gym for 6 hours, you know, obviously I don't wanna do that. I'm gonna be in the gym for 1 to 2 hours. So maybe 4 to 5 sets, maybe 6 or 7 sets on an exercise is where I would say is that's the most I can do on this, still recover well, and still hit other exercises that target other muscles that I wanna bring up. And did you see my first rep went all the way to here? And then my reps got smaller and smaller and smaller. And this is something that I wanted to ask you guys. Does this sound right? Because in my head it sounds perfect and like I don't see a flaw, but I could be wrong. But let's say I'm barbell rowing over here 400 pounds, and the goal muscles that I want to actually grow from those rows are my traps, my lats, and my erectors. My rear delts are not gonna get too much from it. However, there's body language involved. So is person A, who barbell rows 200 pounds with the most textbook perfect form, and then there's person B, who's barbell rowing 400 pounds with like B plus form, B minus B, B plus form. That person B, I admit, all 400 of those pounds are dispersed across my body from head to toe. Not all 400 pounds are on my traps and my lats and my erectors, because I'm getting a lot of momentum. However, there are moments in each rep where that 400 pounds is hitting me in full force. There's at least like the eccentric that I'm taking that 400 down to my shins. And then with all that momentum going down, it's probably 400 to 500 pounds at the very bottom of the rep, because gravity's going down, and then I'm pulling that 500 feeling weight. It's coming back up with gravity. Okay, now it's back to 400 where it was, and now I'm getting momentum, and now I'm probably rowing 300 something. So I'm almost like feeling multiple different weights of the same weight, because I do have some built-in momentum there. Where person A with no momentum is purely organically natural, it's just as natural as you can be, just doing this with 200 pounds. Because once you go over 200 pounds for that person, their form's gonna break down. I'm saying, in my opinion, for me, I hate saying in my opinion, because I feel like everyone just takes what I say and thinks I'm speaking for you. I'm not speaking for you, I'm speaking for myself, like always. But in my opinion, taking the 400 pound weight and using momentum where I decide when the 400 feels less via engaging more leg drive, I would rather that, and I think for me it grows more than if I stayed at the 2 plates or maybe 3 plates with absolute perfect form. And for this exercise here, my first rep is all the way out to here. And then by rep number 10, I can barely even get it halfway. And so it's like, okay, cool. I could lighten the weight and get 10 reps so perfectly that as soon as rep number 11 comes and I can't go all the way, I would stop the set. And I think going heavier, using a little bit of oomph in there, like really kind of grind that shit up and letting the reps get smaller. And yes, I'm not taking all 100% of the weight anymore. Like person B was on the rows, isn't taking all 400 every single inch. It's like down here, it feels like 400, up here it feels like 300 because you got momentum to get it there. And then as it's coming down, it feels like 400 to 500. That world of how those reps feel, to me, grows more muscle than ultra textbook. And you call the set off as soon as your form breaks down or as soon as your range of motion isn't 100%. I think letting your range of motion get smaller to 90, 80, 70 into partials, and also using momentum are tools that as you get more advanced, I think can actually build way more tissue than if you just stayed textbook on year 3 of lifting, year 4 of lifting, year 5 of lifting, you're still super ultra textbook. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying if you're at a plateau and you're scared to go more weight, the textbook form is gonna be a ceiling you'll never be able to get over. To get past that ceiling, you have to use momentum, partials, drop, you have to use other intensifiers because objective linear progressive overload doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. You'll never progressive overload like this ever, ever, ever. It'll never do that. It'll be this, 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 maybe even this, maybe even this. And so to get past those, because you're sitting there on paper with your notebook and you're wondering, well, I did 10 reps last week, I should be able to do 11 this week, and then you get 9. It's like, dude, something else has to change because it's not so perfect, straight line utopia of lifting, which would be nice. But sometimes you have to get out of, here's my 10th rep. Oh no, my 11th only went to here. All right, done. I'm scared. It's like, get into the 11th one, then the 12th, then the 13th, and then the 14th, 15th, and you can't even move it an inch. I think those reps build a lot of muscle that it's almost like it feels good to say, I'm so mature in the gym, I don't do partials. I don't do momentum. I'm too advanced and grown up. I'm a grown up. I don't do that little kid stuff, like jerk the weight around or whatever. I'm not saying jerk it around with you know, lack of care. I'm saying an intentional extra, like when I'm here and I go like that, that's awesome, I think. Like, I think that's great. You're doing everything you can. You're doing the most you possibly can while still being able to recover well, as opposed to what's the least I can do to make some noticeable progress. Keep getting the same exact reps like by accident. Okay, I'm getting 10 and I'm not really able to get a couple extra that I would like. So I'm taking the 25 kg off the stack and we're just gonna go all natty, baby. I'll put this back in a minute because my pump is the number one important thing to me in my life. All right, set number 4, drop setter. So the stack on here, the numbers aren't real. It's whatever it says, it's not really this number. 295, whatever that means. Let's say 300 is roughly where it's at. And then 200, and then like 150, something like that. I'll do a drop set like that. Oh. Oh man, still on low carbs. It doesn't matter how small or kind of cute the exercise is, like a rear delt fly. They still hit you. Can't even move my arms. All right, let's move on. That was a sick pump. So I'm looking for basically two of these things, because I'm gonna do the cross arm rear delts where I cross the cables. All right, so as usual, rear delts and side delts. When I do the rear delt rows or I do the side delt like lying down upright rows, this is a little thing I do. I cross the handles over. I saw Kaiki Pro guy, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. but I'm not going to be rowing this. This is not a row. I already did my rows. I'm doing rear delts where I'm taking my elbow here. That's it. Boom. That's all you gotta do. Boom. Just like that. And people say, oh, you're doing a set of 15? What are the first 10 reps for? What are the first 8 reps for? And it's because I have to establish some sort of burning sensation in the muscle. There has to be a motor recruitment from my brain to my rear delt. If you're someone that's never done this before and you sit down on this and you go 1, 2, this is really hard, 3, I'm about to hit failure, 4, and I can barely get 5, 5, okay, you put it down. Did you feel anything in your rear delts? I don't know. I'm just saying that the first literally even set or 2 of this, not even just the first 10 reps, like the first 2 full sets of this is me getting my rear delts engaged to the maximal amount they can be. And so, yeah, I feel a pump right now there. I feel a contraction there. I also just did rear delt flies, so I'm at an advantage as far as establishing a mind-muscle connection. But this is really starting to burn now. If I started at 5, I could bring the weight way up, but there wouldn't be any mind-muscle connection there. I would just be moving 5 reps and then stopping, or moving 7 reps and stopping, because everything at 8 and up is like not for bodybuilding, apparently. A little heavier. I'm not using a ton of body language on this, but what I will do is take rests. Just, let's say I hit like failure. Okay, there's failure. I'll just chill for a second, catch my breath, and get back into it. So here's a full set. This is like a real working set. Range of motion is not that big. I'm not down here into my lat. I'm not bending. I'm just locked. Everything is locked. That's it. And I'm imagining like the rear delt flies that as my hands are pulling, I'm not imagining like they're coming together, because then I'm gonna get a ton of bicep and forearm and brachialis. I don't want this joint and this elbow doing the work. I want to imagine like they're pulling apart. With my hands crossed, another reason why I cross the hands is because it tells me which line of force I want. The cable now is diagonally going from my left shoulder across the midline of my body in front of my left knee, and then my left shoulder across the midline of my body to in front of my right knee. And so that tells me exactly where these handles should go. So they spread a little bit. Divergent. Not gonna lie, I know that this is a boring ass exercise to watch me do, but it's necessary. Okay, I'm not gonna film every single one of these, but I'm doing 6 sets on this. That was 1. So I'm gonna rest 10 or 15 seconds and do another one. I'm gonna do 5 more of these. And then we're gonna get into some pull-ups with the weight on my feet, if I can. Hopefully do a little bit of weight on my feet. And then it's gonna be time for me to do some cardio. So I did my rowing, scap retraction. Now I'm into my rear delts for 2 different exercises, because I do not think rear delts are less important than my erectors. I don't think my rear delts are less important than like my chest or my quads. I train them as if they're the most important muscle in my body when it's time to train them in the middle of my back workout. And that's why for me, my rear delts are wicked developed, because I prioritize them by putting them like second. Just put them second in your workouts. And I promise, get rid of the shoulder day, I think. Stop front delt pressing and get these rear delts back here absolutely bulging out of your shirt, from facing the camera, facing the side, facing the rear. You want these things just popping out back there. I'll see you guys at the pull-ups in about 2 seconds. So I just did a body weight set, and there's absolutely no chance I'm adding weight to my feet. I'm so beat up from the rows and 2 different rear delt exercises for, I don't know, 12 sets of rear delts or 11 sets of rear delts, drop sets on rows, low carbs cardio. So I'm totally cool, just body weight here. Oh, man. I don't even care about a peak contraction. I care about getting my hand above my head and stretching up my lat as much as possible, putting all 230 whatever pounds of my body on that muscle. not just like dead hanging and using the straps to like hang me there, but like, it's like holding a bicep by your side. Like there's still an element of like I'm holding it. So I want to be stretched in my lats with the lats engaged. And I know there's really, the data goes against it, but I think opening up a muscle under tension and like holding it there for a second to like kind of catch your breath, but simultaneously not come off the muscle, I think is totally fine. Like doing pec flies. Let's say you're doing pec flies and you open up your chest and you rest for a second. You still get the weight on the muscle though. I think that's totally cool. Like take a second and get a couple of more. The same sort of theme, like how much can I do? How far can I push my limits and still be able to recover well? Not what's the least I can do to just check off the box that I quote unquote made progress. What's the most I can do to kill myself in here? Oh, I can't even push to like some crazy big 10, 12, 15 reps number. I'm getting pretty beat up on this, which is cool, man. Get a set from this angle. Oh my God, I'm getting 9 with my body weight. That's pathetic. Oh man, what a difference between doing these first with like all the energy, 0 exercises in, have a 77 pound, 35 kg dumbbell on my feet. I got like 12, but just some barbell rows, some rear delts, and trying to do this last. No wonder why people don't do this. Shit sucks. You feel so like discouraged because you're like, oh, I haven't done any pulling down motion yet. I should be strong. And then you start and all the muscle you just trained goes, hey, don't forget about us. You've already trained us today. And then your strength is like, meh. Let's get a side angle so you can see my ego lifting pull-ups with all my ego. If my working out style is considered ego lifting, sure. Totally fine with me. I don't care. Here we go, come on. Have a spotter right here is so clutch, but. That's all I got. That is all I got. So I woke up today at my best. And my body weight on the scale is 236 flat, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. I go just whatever, you know, so going by the mirror for me is really important. And I feel like my body's kind of weird with like after we train legs, I'm usually like heavy for a couple days. After I train back, I'm usually heavy. It's just the inflammation, like what, post, you know, the next day or two inflammation. The, like, movements I did last night, flexing my back right now, like my rear delts and my traps and my lats are all wicked sore, so I'm really happy with that. Successful workout in my books if I'm really sore the next day. Maybe for at least 2 or 3 days, that's like the goal. But usually like waking up, I don't really have any veins coming through here. Today I do, and I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna hand this over to my friend here. With this one, I never know if it's better to go kind of like take this and spread them and do like a slight sucked in vacuum like that, or what Nick Walker does where he goes and he crunches like that. I think this makes you look a little bit kind of just smaller, but you get the cuts here. I don't have big like Flex Wheeler abs that like bulge out. So for me to like be like this and have separated midsection, I have to be crazy lean because I just don't have like big ab muscles. So I'm trying to find a way to like be big with the pose, but also see some separation here. And I think just at the end of the day, I just have to get really lean. I'm still not close to where I want to be. As you can see down here, my total honesty and transparency with my physique. See all this This is all body fat. All of that. Anything that jiggles is body fat. So we have to get rid of all that still. I think being like big and tall and like trying to come up high with this, but then for me, I'm not lean enough yet that I can have fully etched. This will be the end of the video here, guys. I hope you learned a couple things. But I'm gonna take this camera, everything we're doing right now, the video's gonna end here and it's gonna go into a full day of eating. I don't know if I'm having a cheat meal today, so it's gonna be cool to see like as the meals go, and then I'll get my response back from Frank and he'll tell me like, hey, get a burger tonight. Or he might say, hey, get back on the stairs, no burgers, no fries, no steaks, nothing. Keep going, keep doing your cardio. So I woke up at my best look. I don't know if that means for his plan to keep pushing till tomorrow or Monday, but we'll see. So that video is gonna start right now.